was a wicked woman named Atiala, whose son, the king, had just been...
Is this one good? You guys? Yeah, I've never put on an eyeliner before. I'm gonna be on camera.
Oh man, favorite band member? It's a tough one. I don't want to like step on anybody's toes or anything, you know. I don't want to be that guy.
I don't know. I always had an affinity for Christian Freds. We call them Freds.
I definitely have to say Sam Brown. You know, Mr. Baby Grand himself.
I can tell you, it was definitely not Sam.
There was like this longing for me to please him, like a dad who didn't want to give me the approval that I needed.
He was kind of a desperate child, a real weakling, always compensating, looking for approval.
You know, it's funny, I can remember hearing all about Sam from my parents. I overheard them talking about, oh, that weird brown kid, he has a hard life. And I didn't really know what that meant.
I can remember this time where I was playing, I don't remember what we were playing, it was maybe Ballroom Blitz or something, and I had been singing a lot that day, and my voice was just cracking, and it just didn't sound good, and Christian came up to me and said, hey, you're terrible, let me sing this song. And I thought, okay, yeah, this sounds awesome.
And he had just an abhorrent voice, so we had to strip him of the privilege of singing. I had to do it. It was a bummer. I hated doing it.
And I can remember going to elementary school with him, and every day at 3 o'clock at recess, he would be going down the slide at an unusually slow rate. Oftentimes he would have his hands on the sides just so he would go down slower. And no one really knew why. And I just remember thinking, what are you doing? You know, what are you doing to yourself? And he'd get to the bottom eventually after about a solid 5 minutes. And by that time, a large crowd of classmates would gather around the bottom of the slide, just waiting to just beat him up. And 90% of the time, I was in that crowd.
So you know, Christian took that song, he started singing that song, and I had 3 or 4 other songs that he just started singing because he wanted me to be more comfortable in the band. So he stopped making me sing, which made me uncomfortable, and he stopped making me play piano, which also made me uncomfortable, to the point where I was pretty much just the manager.
Couldn't play piano. Eventually, we just had to make him our road manager, which essentially means he was able to drive. He had a license. That's all you have to do to be a road manager. You have to have a license and 2 arms to carry stuff, and he barely had that. So that's probably me. I was probably my favorite member. He played real good.
And let me tell you something. That little boy who I saw getting his little tushy beat on the playground, he became a man during band practice. I mean, he would step up to the plate and he would just blossom. He became such a free spirit. I cannot describe how proud I am of him. And now, you know, he can go from a G chord to an A chord like it's nothing. And God, do I love that man. I knew we would be best friends.
Man, favorite memory?
Oh,
Well,